Hello everyone, welcome to the LTM podcast powered by SLIPSTREAM Motorsports. We're your hosts Daniel and Alex, and finally it's another month, which means there's another supercar round. Alex, how are you, mate? It's been a while since we've done a supercar pod, or any pod.
It's been a while since I've done a pod.
True.
I've been away for a couple of weeks.
That's a very
not
good
away,
point.
but I've missed a few, and now I'm back. We're good, ready for some racing action. We got a pretty busy weekend in terms of motorsport, which is great.
We do.
For us personally as well, not only just supercars.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, because of course Ivan is doing a test day on Saturday for his RX-8. Of course, he had a shakedown, and we were there yesterday as well with him. That was really cool. But he's also got an endurance race with open pit lane doing on that Sunday at the Bend, 6-hour race. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And just to clarify, Bryce, before you ask again, we blurred our backgrounds because I had to change my office room around, so the decorations on the wall are not mine. So just gonna hide those.
And it just saves me having to clean up.
Yeah, honestly, we just can't be bothered. And
exactly.
We think it looks even more cleaner.
It does actually. It looks a bit more professional.
But it's probably partly more laziness too.
But we won't let you guys know that.
I would say.
But So let's talk about what we're mainly here for tonight. Of course, we've got the Supercar podcast, Tasmanian Super Sprint, the final sprint race of 2024. And this is the final race before we head into the Enduros. Of course, Sandown will be the next one after this. But let's go through some news before we dive into what to expect this weekend. Starting off with the big one, Kai Allen has signed a drive with Penrite for next year and beyond. Of course, we originally thought he was going to go DJR, but from this didn't seem like it was going to work out, so he went to Penrite. So there you go. And we sort of covered this. You weren't there, unfortunately. Ivan and I were in the studio. we spoke about the whole Richie Stanaway thing with Kai Allen as well. And because of that, Peter Addington is also planning a wildcard appearance for Richie as well, in the boost, with another New Zealander. So I
don't listen to anything Peter Addington says. No. He says things that never happen. So
true. He
Richie
says
Stanaway could do a wild card.
That's it. But in saying that, I would like to see a New Zealand version of what we see with Craig Lowndes and a young gun with their super cheap wild card. That's how I see it. Of course, if you're new here in the podcasts and you're listening as a playback, whether it's YouTube or Spotify, first off, welcome. But we actually do these as a live stream, and of course, we've got viewers over on TikTok and YouTube as well. So shout out to Bryce and Liam, Mad Dog, Zach for sharing as well. Supermax, how you going, mate? Finally, some motorsport. Yeah, exactly. It's been a bit dry since the Olympics took place. And Jared Crabb as well on YouTube. Shout out to you. Yeah, we'll get into your question very soon because that is part of the news as well for the Super 2 stuff. But yeah, what do you think? How do you reckon Kai Allen's going to go next year?
Well, obviously he's done the 2 years of Super 2, which is quite unique in itself. So I think he'll be fine. It'd be easy to answer that question though once the Enduros have happened, because he's in a Mustang. He's going to be in the same, or not the same team, but same car. So we'll see how he goes. Obviously, last year when he did the Enduros, was it with Simona?
Yeah, he did the yellow wild card, the yellow DJR car.
That's right. Yeah. When they were racing, they put Simona down as the main driver, and that didn't happen. Kai Allen did all the qualifying and all the main stints, and he shone through the stars, and he deserves the gig for sure. I think he'll be fine, like Zach just said. I totally think he'll be fine. Hopefully he's a bit better than Richie was, which would be cool to see. And from there, I've got no problems with him being signed there. Obviously, it sucks that Richie got kicked out early. But like we said in the last couple of podcasts, the contracts mean literally nothing. And it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, I agree with Richie. He just hasn't had a good run in supercars or luck. No. Yeah, he probably did deserve another, to keep seeing how he goes, but he just hasn't been anywhere near Matt Payne compared to the start of the year. So it is understandable. And of course, Kai Allen is just doing so well at the moment. And if no one was going to snag him, like if they didn't snag him, someone else would, sort of thing. So they made the right call personally, probably. And I reckon Richie might enjoy more doing wildcard appearances. Probably, I don't know. But gutted for Richie, but excited for Kai nonetheless. Next, well, this isn't really news because it's nothing official, but we spoke about this yesterday at the track. A potential TCR crossover with Supercars, having the TCR series join as a support. Alex, you want to share your thoughts to the live community?
Well, I'm all for it, because as soon as I think Speak FA released that that's a possibility, because TCR is a great category. I love the TCR category, but personally, I don't watch it. I don't know it's on. I don't know who's winning the championship. I don't know where they're racing. It's not broadcasted enough, and Stan ruined it.
Yeah.
Like I went to one of the TCR races back in 2019 at the Bend, and it was killer. So I know that TCR isn't as good as Bryce is alluding to, I should say. However, I do think it has a place as a what's it called? Support category.
Yeah.
On the Supercars calendar, especially at tracks like the Grand Prix. But I'm thinking that it could run with the category. The only problem we'd see is that there'd be a lot of drivers that can't do double duties. Again, and then obviously, does it affect the Speed Series? Then it affects TCR, Trans Am. Like, it'll have a snowball effect. Will the Speed Series even exist anymore? Who knows? I don't mind the idea though of it being a support category for supercars. I think it would be cool, and I think the support categories need to run with the supercars calendar the whole year, aka Super 2, aka
The same
Porsche
thing
Cup.
every time, sort of thing.
The same. Oh, actually, now that I say that, yeah, what I was gonna say is, like, have the same championships follow the same categories.
Yeah.
But then in my head, I'm thinking that might be quite dull round to round. I don't know. It'd be very repetitive.
Well,
but you know what I mean.
That said too, it doesn't. All the people competing in those categories as well will have massive gaps in between next rounds, as well.
Yeah, but hang on. If they don't actually run, like Super 2 went from Bathurst and they didn't run into Perth. Well, and that was like a 3-month gap.
The Utes didn't go from Bathurst all the way to Darwin. That was the big gap.
Exactly. Even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, even worse. So, like, yeah, I think the support categories need a bit more support themselves. Yeah. In terms of when they're running, but yeah, I'm all for TCR being in the supercars calendar.
Yeah.
They just need to work out what's going to happen to the Super Series and how that'll get affected. What do you think?
I quite like it purely because of the publicity it will get. Because I know the Speed Series. I said Speed Series is on 7+, right? But you don't hear much. Like, I don't see much about it other than speed. When I see Speed Series, I think of Trans Am. That's the first thing I go to. I don't go to TCR straight away.
Yeah, I can see a point.
So I reckon. Plus, like we mentioned yesterday as well, the ex-supercar drivers tend to go there as well. They're in Trans Am as well, but they're also in TCR, like Tony D'Alberto, for example, and Will Brown once did it as well. It just, they're pretty cool cars. So just throw them in the sport category. Supercar can use a bit more as well. I'm all for it.
I just think because of what they are, there's no other front-wheel drive categories I can't think off the top of my head that follow the supercars category. Oh, besides, Aussie racing cars.
Yeah, but even then,
they're another ball game themselves.
Yeah. I mean, you got correct.
But you know what I mean? Like, they're just different.
Yeah.
But they're not front-wheel drive.
Oh, front wheel. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, they're different. And at some points, I'd rather watch bloody TCR than Super 2, because unless you like seeing a safety car go around for 20 laps, then there's no point watching Super 2.
Exactly. Just got a couple questions
Get some comments.
Yes. Mad Dog Richie has had some extremely rough years. Likewise, yeah, definitely. Joseph, hey go mate, who is going where in 2025? Well, it's sort of setting into place now. We did make a predictions video. If you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to after this. It was made prior to the announcement about Kai Allen, though. There has been rumours floating around where Brody might end up, whether he goes to DJR or Premier. I can most likely see him going to Premier more than DJR. What's going on with Brody and Hazelwood? I reckon Hazelwood will most likely replace Brody next year, Erebus. There are rumours about maybe having was it Lockie Hughes or Jared Hughes? Replacing him or Job Stewart, but it just makes more sense to put Todd in that car because he matches Jack LeBrock in terms of pace and stuff. So you won't be gambling too much if you put Todd in there. It's like a safe option. What do you reckon?
Which one?
Just all of it. Where do you reckon Brody's going to go, and if you reckon Todd will go there?
I think Todd to Erebus is not a lock, but it's the most easy option. Obviously, Todd did really well in the first couple of rounds. So yeah, that'd be just an easy fix. If Erebus want to do that, if they want to go young, cool. That's completely up to them. I feel like Erebus had the opportunity to refresh themselves. What I mean by that could be, all the scrutiny they had at the start of the year, or the drama, have a full reset, new drivers. Brody's gonna want to leave anyway, so no surprise there. Obviously, we don't know where he's going to go, but I think it's a good opportunity for both Brody and Erebus to reset themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, look, I wouldn't actually be surprised if Todd stays out of Supercars, to be brutally honest. Not because I think it's bad or anything. I just think that, there's up and coming kids that are pretty good. You still got Cooper Murray as well. His name's floating around a few places. So yeah, I think there's opportunities for other kids to come through, and it's not just Todd Hazelwood's seat.
No, I just thought that was the most logical, safest route.
It is the most logical.
But like you said, you do make a good point. There is a lot of fast up and comers, ready to take over, and there are. It goes back to saying that all the old timers should leave and move over for the new guys. But personally, I rather people who are actually decent at driving. Because, for example, Will and Mark have actually proven themselves this year that they've still got it. James not as much, but see what happens, I suppose. But Bryce here says Todd would drive a bathtub on wheels just to race. Yeah, mate, he it's true. He is the man when it comes to being an ambassador for sponsors and stuff. Let's move on to a very exciting news, which everyone should be pumped for. iRacing has they've finally.
I was like, where are you going with this? What's the great news? And then I realized it is great news.
It is great news. They've scanned. I think they pretty much have scanned already the Bend Motorsport Park, and they'll be returning in November to scan the Adelaide 500. And also apparently Gen 3 is coming as well. So that's happy days. It's fantastic.
Dude, if I might take the whole month of January off just to do that. I'm joking. But mate, when that season, I'm pretty sure season 1. So people that don't do iRacing, they go by seasons. It's basically like a term at school. Term 1, 2, 3, and 4. Season 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure they do 5 as well, don't it? And yeah, it's basically going to be like that, and I'm pumped. So I'm pretty sure season 1 next year is going to be when they want this done. I don't think the Adelaide 500 will be done in time for that. Yeah. I think that'll be season 2.
We might see the Bend though. Do you reckon we'll see the Bend?
Gen 3 and the Bend should be released at the same time. That's what I got from it. But we shall see. Either way, I'll be on there the whole time.
Yeah, if you don't hear from us, we're in the virtual
if
world.
We don't do any podcasts because we're on the simulator.
Yeah, that's it. Mad Dog, get my PC and sim in a few months, so it's coming just in time. Yeah, that's perfect, mate. They heard that you were doing that, and that's when they put it all together.
I'm keen to drive the Gen 3. I think it's going to be killer. As long as they fix the steering, because the problem with iRacing Supercars is the steering doesn't feel how it should. It's way too light.
Yeah.
It doesn't match. So yeah, we'll test that out. We might even do some live streams. Who knows?
We probably will.
No, not maybe. We definitely will
do live streams. Yeah. What
do you mean? We're going to be live streaming
with or without Gen 3. There will be live streams. Lizville, how you going, mate? We're doing good. Good to have you back on the pod once again.
Yeah, we are right.
No, it's a fantastic opportunity for the more the merrier for Aussie tracks.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd love to see a couple more. I would love to see maybe Surfers Paradise or Pukekohe's already been scanned as well, so hopefully we get to see that at some point in the future.
They did that ages ago.
So I don't know why they
did that.
Nothing's been said about it.
And Spa's getting a refresh too.
A long needed one too.
Very long. They still got Vodafone bloody sponsoring on it.
Yeah, it's a bit out of date.
A little bit. I'm pretty sure it's from like 2011 or something.
Yeah.
It was one of the first tracks scanned, so that much needed update with the the new my God, what's it called? Gravel traps, the grandstand, all that. That's going to be updated. So no, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to the supercars.
Yeah, that's it. Bryce just wants to let you know to not diss the Vodafone.
I have no problem with Vodafone. It's just the sponsor's really old.
It's just
I'm pretty sure they got the old logo on there.
Out of date.
Well, Vodafone still exists, just not the advertising.
Yeah. Anyway, now we move on to Sandown, which of course is the next round. After this, they're introducing the lucky dog rule, which of course we've seen at Bathurst.
Finally.
A lot of people are opposed to this, but I don't mind it. Obviously, if you don't know what it is, basically, when there's a safety car period, it gives a chance for lapped cars to unlap themselves, as we saw famously in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2021, as a small example. But what do you, from the sounds of it, you're actually happy with it?
Well, when the Mad Dog rule is implemented correctly, not like the F1, it's worked great. They use it in NASCAR all the time for every race. Because obviously it's easy to go a lap down or two there. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I actually think it should be for every round, to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the lucky dog rule is a bad thing. And even this year, like, the safety car hasn't really been out much, to be honest.
Just shout out to Mad Dog, because you said the Mad Dog rule.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. So there you go.
Did I really?
Yeah, so he's actually the one that came up with that. So there you go.
I've just been reading his comments the whole time, and it's just in my head. I didn't even notice I said it.
You just saw the word.
Did I actually say it? The Mad Dog rule.
I'm pretty sure you did. I didn't want to interrupt you. You went in a method, so I was just waiting to see if Mad Dog would say something.
Oh yeah. Oh God, that's embarrassing.
Love it.
Whoops.
It's fantastic. But
anyway, the lucky dog rule. Yes, I'm all for it. Put it in, especially for an enduro race. You know, when you're lapped down or two, unless there's a safety car, which is when this rule is implemented anyway. Then yeah, I think it should be for every round, to be honest.
Well, Cam Waters and James Moffat will be happy about it. They probably wish they had it last year when they lost that rear wing.
Yeah, the few drivers would be happy about that.
Definitely. And now we go to the next news. There's actually quite a bit of news, but this is the last probably big one. Obviously, as Bryce mentioned and Jared Crabb has mentioned, AIM Motorsport has pulled out of Super 2 effective immediately, unfortunately due to money, which seems to be the talk of the town for Super 2 lately, with how expensive it is. Obviously, it also means Zane Morse is out of a drive now for Super 2. It means that Jet Johnson doesn't have a drive to come back to. So it's a real shame.
Yeah, right. I didn't realize that.
Because of course Townsville, Dean Fury drove that car. There was a brake failure. Unfortunately, that destroyed the car. And I wonder if that has had an effect with their decision. But it's a real shame because they were Zane especially was in the top 10 the whole weekend almost. So it's a real shame to see. That's for sure. And in saying that, though, I want to read what Jared Crabb here said. Super 2 should go to a version of Mark IRC car, use matching front rear shape bodywork, run control supercar tyres in hard compound, add a sequential shifter, run spec crate engine, and cut running costs. Just instead of using like X supercars, because I hope they don't go to the Gen 3 cars. I doubt they will, but I hope they don't.
God, could you imagine if they did do that?
But would you like to see them, instead of using, or go back, do you want to see them go back to the VF sort of thing where actually cheaper, or do you want to see them use something entirely different, such as a Trans Am or a modified Mark car? Because I don't mind that Mark car idea.
Well, I don't really get. Is it the running cost of owning the car that's the expensive bit, or attending every race?
I think it's more the car, I reckon, because there weren't too many Gen 2s lying around. I don't think, from memory.
Well, that's the thing. But I assume, and I don't know anything about parts, but I assume you get Gen 2 parts bet more than Gen 3 because they weren't built. Well, besides the Commodore, maybe the Commodore you could be fine with, but like, you know what I mean? The Ford Mustang wasn't actually a Mustang.
Yeah.
That you could buy on the road. I don't know. They do need to find a way for it to be cheaper because obviously, I think this is only coming out because of all the crashes.
Oh, this year's been horrible.
To be honest, like this year's been. I actually think the safety car has done more laps than green flag. I genuinely think that. I might even go count it up. But like, I just think they actually need to work out a way for the racing to be better. As well as working out how these teams can afford it. Because, yeah, they are small teams. And, yeah, I just don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to fix it. But I think it would be better if they had maybe the same cars. Even if they were all Commodores, maybe.
Yeah.
Do
you want to maybe see them go back to the Kumos? You know how they've got the VEs even, or the FGs. You want to see them go back to the?
Yeah, but where would they get them from?
Oh, there'll be heaps. I'm sure there's heaps lying around, but it's more about it's a cheaper car.
Yeah, agreed.
But
I also think the problem is safety. Like they got, the Gen 3 cars had the safety. Sorry, Gen 2 had the safety in them. Yeah, so you probably couldn't go further down than Gen 2. Like, they're still using the Altimas, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That's literally the only Super 3 cars, is the Altimas.
Yeah, there you go. So, I don't know. They do need to work out a way to make it cheaper. Maybe take inspiration from, like, F2 and F3, how they're all the same. I don't know how you do that, but you know what I mean? Like, everyone should be paying, besides damages, paying the same thing.
Well, the good thing, you actually make a good point about that. Because obviously F2 isn't a downgrade from F1. Like, you don't use recycled F1 cars for F2.
No, my point.
Supercars and NASCAR are pretty much the only... Because I'm pretty sure the Xfinity is just the recycled NASCAR. I think we established.
Yeah, the old stock. Yeah, the old ones, yeah.
So maybe it might be time for them to try something different, but stay within the V8 formula. That will feel something similar to the current main game. I don't know, but something needs to be done because obviously 6 rounds isn't enough, and obviously money comes, has an effect with that as well. They need more attention, more opportunities, less crashes.
The problem is Super 2 is, if this keeps going on as a bigger team as AIM leaving, this could have a snowball effect. Right? It genuinely could. So the only way I could think that maybe this could work out is if you scrap Super 2 altogether and just have like every supercar team needs to have a third car, and then they hire a kid, of whoever they want, and then it's like okay, this is what it's gonna be like. This is the idea I got in my head. It's like having a reserve driver for every team, but they race every week with the supercar team, with their own reserve drivers.
As in,
so it'd be about like an 11 car field. How many teams there in?
As in separately?
11.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 11 teams.
You cut the cost, or the problem is these other teams probably wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these supercar teams have a third car. They have a spec. Right? Why don't you just use those? Most of them, not all of them, granted. But most of them do.
Yeah.
And then the only problem is numbers, maybe. But maybe you could have a few extra teams that can afford it. I can't think of anything that comes to mind, but if they really want to stretch out the budget, they can have 2 cars.
Yeah.
But for Tickford maybe or something, BJR.
Mm.
But actually have it as a entry category to supercars that is proper. And actually, maybe I guess you can use Gen 2, Gen 3 cars. But just less cars in the field as well. I think Super 2 has way too many cars in it. I don't know. Does my idea make sense?
I do. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah. I just it's just trying to understand it all. No, I like where you're going with it though. But in saying that though, I do want to see more opportunities for the young guns with the super exposure.
Well,
it'll help with exposure, that's for sure.
Yeah, you just need one. You just need one car. We know AAA, DJR. All the top teams have a spare car. So it'd just be maybe like Newlon or something that need a second car, and then each team has their own academy driver. Call it that, and then they race in. I don't know what you'd call it. Maybe you can even keep it a Super 2, whatever, or Supercars Academy, something like that.
Do you know what would be cool? If they had a little mini race, those separate drivers, and the winner gets to race in the main series that weekend. Gets to join the supercar. If
that would be very.
I don't know.
Lost. Yeah.
I don't know, but
I think you'd have issues with payment with that.
True. Probably, yeah. But no, I like the idea of the academy though, because of course Mad Dog here also said about the academy, because supercar teams are starting to do that, just not not all of them. We do have BJR.
I reckon each supercar team needs a minimum of 1 car.
Well, in
Super 2.
Actually, I forgot to mention as well, the only reason AAA aren't in Super 2 this year is because, or last year, whatever, is because they didn't have any ZBs lying around. They already sold theirs to other teams. So, even if they were to go back to the Gen 2 or the VF, they can join again.
Yeah, I mean, you probably still have the issue of finances and whatnot. They usually sell these cars to fund their new cars, stuff like that. I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't run a supercar team, so I have no idea. I'm just spitballing here, but you got to find. But bottom line, you got to find a way for a lower category under supercars to be cheaper, less damage, and just an actually leading point to supercars.
Yeah, exactly. No, but right now, what they're doing right now isn't working.
Not this year, they're not.
No, but there is a lot of cars, but a lot of them are damaged.
Yeah.
I remember when I remember when Zane actually got Cam's Mustang at Adelaide in 22. Like literally on the Sunday, like it was Zane's once the race ended.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, we'll talk about that as the year progresses. And who knows, maybe next year there won't be a Super 3 at all. They'll just join it, which the fact that they still got Super 3 is ridiculous given there's only 2 cars. But anyway, now we move on to the small news now. It's been 30 odd minutes and we haven't even spoken about Tasmania yet. So there you go. But
that's what happens when you race every month.
That's it. There's a lot to catch up on. So Dean Fury has officially now been confirmed as the co-driver for Jackson Evans. And he's a nice little segue because he raced for AIM and Townsville. So now that leaves just Tickford to decide their drivers for the Enduros. Of course, James Moffat most likely will be with Cam Waters. But they haven't announced who will be with Tommy Randall yet. Do you have any?
Who's that?
Well, I've got the list here. So,
please.
So, I'm just going to go by car numbers. All right, we can all gather from that. So Erebus 1 is Hazelwood, 99 Ojeda. Then we got 888 with Wingcup and Pie. Brad Jones Racing, we got Declan Fraser, Dean Fury, as I said. Robotham and Jordan Boys. DJR, Tony Delberto, and Kai Allen. Walkinshaw, Coulthard, and Holdsworth. Penwright, Tander, and Wood. Am I going too fast or all good?
I'm trying to find it so I can read it.
It's on.
You continue.
It's on Speed Cafe. Team 18, Caruso and Luff. Premier Racing, Russell and McLeod. Then we go to Blanchard, Cameron and Jack, like Jack Perkins. Cooper Murray and Craig Lowndes, obviously, in their thing. Brad Vaughan will be with Matt Charter. That wild card entry for, I think, Sandown and Bathurst. Cameron Crick and Dylan O'Keefe. So that's all.
Gary Jacobson was with Randall last year.
Yeah, you didn't see much of him last year because they had I can't remember, something broke in the car. But with that being said, I
don't know who's there.
I reckon we'll have James Moffat and Lockie Dalton because Brad Vaughan's already.
Oh, that makes sense.
Brad Vaughan's already with Matt Charter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd say the same thing then.
It just makes a lot more sense. He did the wild card in Sydney. He's driven the Gen 3. Anyway, and he's Tickford's academy driver. So there you go. It makes more sense. But
yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
Other news now. Adelaide 500 schedule's officially been released, which is exciting. We saw that we saw the design for the Supercross track, which is massive. So still don't know where the sprint track is going to be. I'm sure we'll find that out soon. That's going to be an incredible event. Looking forward to that. Ampol has extended their deal with Triple Eight for another 3 years. So that shuts down all of the rumours that Shaw and Partners and Southern Cross Truck Rentals will join Triple Eight in terms of sponsorships, or like as team names, I should say. So it's just going to be Red Bull Ampol Racing once again, with Red Bull staying till the end of 26 at this stage. Mad Dog, can we all agree the Adelaide 500 is the most enjoyable round every year? Absolutely, mate. Hands down. We're not biased. We're totally not biased.
100%.
Alex and I are both Adelaideans, so yeah, we support that all the way. It's just incredible every time.
It's nice. So the Speedway event is on the Thursday and the Friday. So it doesn't conflict with the I think it conflicts with the Friday concert. That'd be interesting. Well, they only got 2 now. Oh no, they only got 2. Right. That may explain a few things for us then.
That helps. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So there's only a Saturday and Sunday concert, which makes sense. Honestly, that's when you get the biggest crowd. Thursday and Friday ones, you never even knew who they were.
Well, it might be bigger now that the sprint cars are coming.
Well, maybe that's a sign of where it's going to be. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe.
Probably.
I don't know.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. And now, last but not least, we've got some liveries. We've got the Cub Cadet joining Mark Winterbottom for 3 rounds. Looks very similar to his DeWalt livery, but just a bit more yellow. And WAU, this was announced really early on. They are going to keep the black cars till the end of the year, which is fantastic. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool.
With that being said, let's actually go into the Tasmanian side of things, of the Tasmanian preview. So, 2.4 kilometre circuit. It's a fun little go-kart-like circuit, I like to call it. We've got, as I said, the final sprint race of the weekend, of the year, sorry. So we've got 2 55-lap races, and it's not going to be a long race, probably a 40-minute race each. I wish they were, though. For the viewers at home, Bryce asked if they'll show it on TV, the Supercross and Sprint. It would be sick if they did, though.
Well, the Supercross is during the day as the event's on.
Yeah.
However, the Speedway might be a question mark though, because that's at 5 to 10 p.m.
and there isn't any footy
on Thursday, Friday.
So
there's no footy. So maybe.
Good point. maybe we have to wait and see. But yeah, Supercross most likely not be.
Speedway is that even on TV normally?
Yeah,
I don't think it will
Fox,
be, to be honest.
it's not Fox, but do you know what they should do? I know we're going a bit off topic with the Tasmania thing. They should stream it on YouTube.
They probably would, yeah.
Yeah, good opportunity for it.
Better than nothing.
Supercross as well, even, because that won't get as much attention because the actual event's on during the day. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
Back to Tasmania. Yeah, like I said, sprint race. Short 40-minute races, 40 to 50-minute races. Lap record 50.4 from Shane Van Gisbergen back in 22. And in terms of support categories this weekend, we've got Aussie racing cars, Formula Fords, Tassie Tin Tops, and Porsche Sprint Challenge. But I'm looking for. I quite like the Tasmanian round. I'm looking forward to. Do you have the schedule, or do you want me to run through it?
I don't have it written down, but I got it up on the screen.
Okay. Would you like to read it?
I can. Friday Supercars are at practice 1, 60 minutes is at 1:50. Just my time or their time? Like, this is my time. So that'll be 2:20, if I'm not mistaken. They're half an hour in front of us.
2:20.
Yep. Cool. And then Saturday morning, 10:30. Oh, that's my time. Hang on. So 11:05 is practice 2. The qualifying for the Saturday race is at 1 p.m. and the race is at late one. 4:10. 4:10 p.m. and
it'll be done by
Sunday. Yeah, true. It is a short race.
Yeah.
Sunday practice 3 for some reason is at 10:20. Qualifying is at 12:50, and then the race earlier this one is at 3:05.
And I want to point out, actually 2 things to point out. Yeah, the practice session sort of thing, originally it was going to be a 90-minute session. Remember, at the beginning of the year, we had those couple of events that were announced as the one 90-minute session, but now got split up into one per day. It's still stupid that we got practice on a Sunday, but it is what it is. Qualifying is the one I want to talk about, though. It's scheduled for 40 minutes, but it's going to be split up into 3 parts, obviously, with a Q1, Q2, Q3 system, given how short the track is. So they'll be going out for 10-minute stints. So it's going to be very interesting for quali, and the pit order is going to be very important for quali as well, which let's run through now.
Yes.
So Red Bull will be the first ones out. Tickford, though, they'll be joining right behind them in the second slot there, which is obviously they moved up as well since Sydney. Walkinshaw third, and then we got Penrite, and then DJR, Matt Stone Racing, Team 18, Erebus, Premier, Brad Jones, of course, they've got the 4 cars there, and then Blanchard Racing. That's your pit order, I suppose. But Alex, any predictions or anything you expect this weekend?
No, I don't really like the qualifying system though.
No,
at Tasmania, I don't really get why they can't. Although no, this would be annoying because if the track conditions change, I don't just get why they don't just split it up into 2, and then
combine
have
them
14.
at the end,
Is it 14? How many cars are there?
There's 24.
Yeah, just combine them.
24.
24. So 12 cars go out for 10 minutes, do your laps, and then 12 cars go out for the next 12 minutes. So 10 minutes.
I like that.
Like, the only problem would be is if it rained or something. Then I can see where you would get problems.
And there might be some rain.
So maybe
this
just leave it the way it is.
We'll see how. In saying that, it might rain this weekend.
Maybe just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, weather's going to be
Maybe just
around
leave it the way it is.
12 degrees this weekend, around there for Tasmania.
I think the point I was trying to make is like you got so much congestion. I guess it only does take 50 seconds to do a lap, but like with all the congestion, you may still only get like 4 laps,
Yeah.
3. But I guess all you have to do is just be, 20th and, the next stage. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm just talking out of my butt, but that's all right.
Well, we have seen. I think this track was the reason they went to that system anyway, given how many close calls everyone had and stuff like that. But because I think literally the pit lane, like it takes about 30 seconds, like or so, like, and that's not including the pit stop in between. I'm talking about race now. So you can very easily go a lap down. So if you think that in qualifying terms, yeah, it's even splitting up in 2 might work just as well as the Q1, Q2, Q3 system.
Sure.
Be interesting, but no, I think in terms of tires, I think they're on softs or super softs. I don't know. They don't seem to release the information about it, which bugs me. Every time we have a preview, they don't release information about what tire they're on. But I think it's a soft tire or a super soft. One of the two. It's definitely not hards. It could be wets though. Who knows? But
Sure.
I reckon
predictions.
Yes, I reckon look out for Red Bull. They're always strong at Tasmania. But last year, Will Brown dominated pretty much in that Erebus car. So him and the fact that he's in that Red Bull, definitely watch out for sure. But don't discount don't discount Chaz.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I was going to say, looking at the stats, Red Bull have dominated, but they haven't dominated this year. So
no, and they've fallen back since Townsville as well. So
that's true. So I think there's still potential that they will, be up the front still. But of course, there are other contenders now. There's Matt Payne. There's Chaz Mostert, there's Cam Waters. Yeah, it's anyone's up for grabs. And look, even the qualifying, might even see a Red Bull at the back. Who knows? Like
that's true. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Like Mad Dog wrote, the track is so small and unpredictable that you can't really predict this round, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, we did say that about Sydney, and we were we weren't that wrong, but we didn't think Red Bull were going to be that bad, but they were.
I honestly thought.
So who knows? Maybe this year's.
Anything, yeah.
Well, this is the thing, though. If Red Bull was struggling the way they have the last 2 rounds, there's potential that they might not even be on the podium this weekend. Who knows?
Well, Tickford as well, because they've improved since Townsville.
Yes, and. Last year, Townsville was the third round.
Tasmania, you mean?
Tasmania, yeah. Did I say Townsville?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
okay.
I'm losing the plot.
It's okay, Mad Dog.
Yeah, thanks. Lucky dog. Look, there's potential for anything to happen, and what I was about to say was, the parity issue last year was at the start of the year, which is when the round was on. Now that those are fixed, it's
a lot better than what it was.
There's potential that a lot better than what it was. That's like I won't be shocked if Red Bull's not even on the podium. But then yet again, I won't be shocked if they win all the races.
It's going to be very interesting, especially with the tires as well. The super softs. I don't know how well the Mustang will go. Of course, the Camaro seems to be better at tire wear than Mustangs, based off last year anyway. So it's going to be very interesting for sure. But definitely, I reckon Will Brown will be hard to beat if that car's good. But don't discount Chaz or Tickford.
I'm not sure that tire wear will become a huge factor at this track because the races are so short.
That's true. Plus, even like we said, if there's rain, that just changes everything again.
100%, which it looks like they will be.
Yeah, that's it. But any final thoughts, Alex, before we wrap up tonight's preview pod?
No, it's going to be a great weekend. So looking forward to the action and seeing the fans and rugged up, all freezing cold will be interesting. Yeah, I think there could be some curveballs this weekend.
Yeah, and Bryce actually makes a good point with the low temp.
Yeah,
Tire wear will be quite low, so a very, very good point. It's going to be
getting
interesting for sure.
Getting them up to temp would be the hardest part.
That's also another good point. Short lap, you don't have a long time, and if they're doing the 10-minute intervals,
we could see some generally like lap 1. We could see some crashes because tire's not up to temp. They've only got the one little. Look, maybe, and this is just an idea I'm throwing out there again because I like throwing out ideas. Potentially, they could do 2 warm-up laps for safety.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's such a short track anyway. It's probably the same distance. How long is the track?
2.4K. So it's a 50 to 55 second lap time.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like a track like the Bend, right, is double that. And they do,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that maybe for safety, it might be worth doing 2 warm-up laps. I'm pretty sure they do that in. There's a category that do 2 warm-up laps. I just think it's just IndyCar, but that's for ovals.
Oh yeah.
I think actually IndyCar do 2 laps everywhere.
I know. But Bryce, yeah, I agree. Let's hope we don't see another 2017, especially how expensive these Gen 3 cars are.
What I was trying to. That's what I was trying to suggest we avoid.
Yeah.
Although that was the coolest crash I've ever seen.
That was
that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That was such a crazy race. I actually watched it again the other week. And then Scott McLaughlin went into the pit lane because he thought like everyone went to the grid, but he went to the pit lane, and there was a whole drama. It was just drama.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It was just completely drama filled, but ended up not counting to anything anyway, so it's all good. But
I think Will Davison had the best radio message as well ever.
What was that?
Because he was the one that was on the outside.
He just went straight into Courtney.
I think it was and he just went, "Oh, my nuts."
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we shouldn't laugh about that. That was very serious, but
no, I'm crazy. Yeah, he had a child, so it couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Anyway, with that being said,
when.
Hey.
Oh, never mind.
What?
I was like, when they say when you've had that injury that they're like, "Oh, good luck having children."
Yeah.
Well, he did. So that's fine.
Yeah. See, that just shows how safe the cars are.
Okay.
Even if you crash, you can still have babies. Anyway, that's the we're off the rails.
That's how we're ending this.
That's it. Thanks everyone who has tuned in tonight, whether you're live or watching as a playback. Sorry you had to hear the last 30 seconds. If we haven't, ruined your day by that last part, do check out our social media. Let's Talk Motorsport. All the socials and stuff are down in the description, the show notes as well. If you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating and a follow. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe and a like as well. Follow us on TikTok as well. And you can all stay up to date with our social media to know when we go live and stuff as well. So shout out to Bryce and Mad Dog and Joseph, I think, as well there. And Jared as well. It's been awesome. And also shout out to AC Delco Racing Fan for following us as well on TikTok. I missed that at the start, but thanks for that, mate. Appreciate it. And yeah, stay tuned for next week. We've got our Supercar review, of course, which will be live. We'll be back in the Radio Italiana studio next week as well. With NASCAR, IndyCar, I think MotoGP's this weekend as well. So heaps of action. If you're magically at the Bend this weekend, if you're doing joining the open pit lane track day on the Saturday, we'll see you there. If not, hopefully we can see you guys at the Super Series at the end of the month at the Bend. But so that'll be cool. But
yes,
check out our social media, like I said, because we've got heaps of announcements coming our way as well in the near future. So that'll be awesome. But thanks everyone who has tuned in, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.